Welcome to the channel, everybody. My name is Ryan, and we are playing Unreal World today, continuing our Conquest of the Njerpez series. And as you can see, we're taking a look at the world map. We are firmly rooted over here in the hostile enemy territory, surrounded by purple on all sides, but we have made some good headway, clearing things out. And in between episodes, I've been doing a whole lot of work, guys. Some crazy stuff. In fact, I've even crashed the game once, but we'll get into that shortly. So currently we are right here at this location, and I've gone to all the settlements we have destroyed, and I've labeled them with a white X, signaling that they've surrendered to us pretty much, forcibly surrendered. And there's nobody left in these settlements at all. And in fact, I'm at the last location that has any loot. I've picked up all the loot off the ground. Good news is, too, our herd of cows and bulls has expanded quite a bit, because a couple of the enemy villages had some in pens, and I was able to just grab a rope, walk right up to them, and take them for ourselves. So these guys are loaded with goods and stuff, including our dogs too. Most of our dogs have stuff on them as well. So like I said, we're at the final village where the loot is the last of the loot spots. I've got it all kind of accumulated in one spot down here. It's this one right here, dead, and it's the one to the north that says loot. So we've got a little bit of a track. I wanted to make this together because sometimes when you go out traipsing about with all this kind of wealth on you, you might get hit by a robber. But I don't think it'll happen. You never know. Oops, we just encountered a squirrel. For some reason I said yes. I'm just excited to show you guys this loot. That's the real point of today's episode, is going to be kind of getting things together. And like I said, I realized that if you stack too much loot in one square, it can actually have a detrimental effect on the game. But anyway, I am about halfway there, and we haven't hit any enemies yet. So I think we're going to be safe for this small trek. Let me get into our newly acquired village, and we're going to take a look at the extensive amount of loot I've got. Okay, well, let's take a little tour of the loot, shall we? What do you say? So I've brought it all here. I've got the dogs tied up over there, and I've picked everything off of them. I looked at each one just to make sure none of them have anything on them. Of course, it's a little tedious, but that's the best way to make sure you're not, leaving anything on your bulls or your dogs. But all the cows are clear of loot too, and I've started stacking it in multiple places, because as I kind of alluded to just a moment ago, I did find that I crashed the game when I went in to look through this. This pile right here has over 590 objects in it in one spot here. And when I open it up, it's a huge list, as you might expect. It's mostly clothing, and like clothing in bad condition. But if we look, this is the stuff that I just collected from like the last two villages right here in this pile. There's only about less than 150 items here, but this is kind of a smaller sampling size of what we've got. So we're going to look at this first. I should have just separated them into piles of the different villages. I think I'm going to do that from now on. But anyway, so we've got quite a few different weapons. You can see tons of arrows. In fact, I think I've got close to 150 arrows in that other stack, the big stack. And that's not even including the broadheads, which I've kept and I've got on me. But there's a rough bastard sword here, a whole bunch of knives and axes and stuff. We got another northern spear, which is actually slightly damaged, but that's okay. That's not too bad. And some bows, again, more axes, short bows. Again, a whole list of clothing. That's usually what dominates it. And don't disregard it, even if it's partially damaged. Either if it's fur or leather and you're playing the unmodded version of the game, you can still repair that stuff. Now, woolen, linen, and armor things you can't repair, but if they're not too badly damaged, you can either still wear them or potentially trade them off. And even badly damaged armor can be worth quite a bit. So in other words, I promise I'm not bragging to you about our wealth, but it is definitely easy to say we are the wealthiest person on this peninsula right now, no doubt about it. We haven't even finished off the Njerpez, but that is a full list of the clothes right there. There might be a few odds and ends down here too. So, oh, we've got quite a few furs. I'm going to definitely separate the furs, and there's going to be a couple of bulls. I'm going to change their names to like Fur 1, Fur 2. That way I'll know which ones are carrying the furs, because as I've talked about in the past, we want to have those with us pretty much when we're traveling in case we come across some foreign traders. These can be really, really valuable to pick up some good stuff. But there we go. A few traps, some linen, a shovel, loop snare, and then a little bit of jewelry. Again, a good sampling of what we've got here. And we are going to zoom in here in just a second. I hope it doesn't crash the game, but it probably will. I'm just going to make sure to save it before that, which can't essentially exits me out of the game because it is roguelike, but no worries, we won't have to deal with that. Just wanted to show you this over here is my pile of like armor and a bunch of broadhead arrows that I dropped just so I had extra carrying capacity. This is what we wear. This is my personal gear here. If we get into a fight, this is what I'll put on here, but it's pretty weighty, as you can see, easily over 30 pounds. But in this side, we've got all the food that I've picked up. So currently in my inventory, which is what we're looking at now, I've got the roasted meats here. Oh, I missed a piece of dried bird food, but that's okay. So I've been trying to eat through the roasted stuff, obviously, because that'll go bad the quickest. But we have a pretty substantial pile here on the ground of a bunch of dried and smoked, maybe a few salted pieces too here and there, because some of this is stuff I prepared myself and brought with us, but most of it's just picked up from the villages or off of the corpses and stuff. But it's all still good meat, and at some point I do want to load this up probably onto an animal. That would probably be smart too. That's going to be valuable stuff. But like I said, all the animals are clear. Now officially all the villages that we've conquered, the loot has been consolidated. At this point in the year, last time I checked, I still can't skate across the ice yet. So we're not going to do an immediate trade trip until that's possible, just because traveling all the way across the peninsula here to the Drick culture, which you can see is quite a big trip. You know, it's virtually undoable in this early winter when you've still got to like try and cross rivers and stuff, and the ice isn't like doable. So we're just going to wait till it freezes over. Shouldn't be too terribly long, but what that means is we might be able to do a couple more attacks here. I'm certainly anxious to get back on the assault, but like I said, first things first, let me go ahead and do a quick save, and then we're going to take a look at this huge pile, this dragon's hoard of loot. All right, we are back here in the same spot we never left from. Okay, so we're going to step onto it, look at it. I didn't have an issue until I exited the inventory, so I think we're safe just scrolling through it. But like I said, over 150 arrows. This just top of the list is our tools and weapons. Keep in mind, the bulk of the stuff is clothing. Look at this, a fine Njerpez scimitar. I don't know if I've ever seen one of these scimitars that actually has a fine or even any kind of modifier on it. Maybe rough, but that's probably pretty valuable. That'll get us a bull right there in trade. 4 maces, which is just a fancy club, but you can't trade clubs away. But with the mace, it definitely has some metal on it, so you can trade that for sure. That's worthwhile. Like these 9 clubs, those I'll probably just end up burning. But, you know, this was just my dumping pile. Just put everything right here on the ground. Won't come to any harm sitting out here, so not a big deal. We got a rough bastard sword, plus a good bastard sword, well, a regular one. Another northern spear, bunch of scimitars here. Look at these knives we've got. 3 more Njerpez scimitars. Oh my god, it doesn't end. Oh no, not there at least. Another bastard sword. We got 57 broadheads just sitting here. Plus, remember, I've got 60 more sitting on that pile with my armor, and I've got around 30 in my inventory currently just for my own usage. But anyway, tons and tons. Look at this. Oh, okay, there's the end of the list for the axes and weapons. But now we're going to take a moment to scroll through the clothing, okay? I'm not going to narrate, and I'm not going to speed up the footage or slow it down in any way. Let's just go through this. Okay, well, that was a good 5 to 10 seconds in there somewhere. That was a lot of stuff. Like I said, that was the bulk of the 591 plus items. Man, oh man. And, again, we didn't see the details of anything here, but if we just look at this, you get a random sampling. I don't know what order they decide to put these in. It's certainly not alphabetical. And it's not by type. I don't know if there is any. I think it's just when you pick it up and put it down. I think that's how these things are sorted. I wish there was a way to filter it by like type or name, but you just got to deal with what you've got here in the Unreal world. But of course, below the furs or the clothes, I'm sorry, we do get some interesting stuff here. I'm going to try and pick these up. These furs start to separate this huge pile. I might have to crash the game and save it and reload it a couple of times. But the good news about Unreal World is when I did crash it earlier, even though I hadn't really saved it right before, because I didn't anticipate it happening, but it did save the game, so I was able to pick up right where I left off. I didn't lose any. Now, I'm not saying it's guaranteed to happen each time if it does crash in a situation like this, but just try and avoid this. Don't place over 500 objects in one stack. Should have anticipated that, but oh well. So we've got the furs. Like I said, I'm going to try and grab these. It might be too much. 7 winter bear furs, guys. That's huge. We can make so much bear stuff, so much. 4 shovels, some nets, some yarn, of course, those cords or that leather rope. I think I'm going to grab that too, because there's a couple villages that still have animals in them, some sheep and maybe a few cows, but I'm not going to pick them up just yet. Leave them where they're at. This is not going to be our final, home base at all. So I'm going to move all this stuff eventually. Well, we're going to sell most of it, but. And the silver bird bracelet down there. One little piece. Oh, and we got the hacked dog called Zach, too. He's probably going to end up going bad there because I don't really need the food. And I doubt his skin is going to be good quality because he's hacked. But anyway, okay, like I said, I'm going to pick this stuff up and see if I can get away without crashing. Oh, no. Well, it did crash afterwards, and it did not save my progress, which was basically just picking up some of the furs and stuff. It might have been because I didn't pick them up because it was too heavy, but it gave me a moment or two. So what I might do is start to separate stuff, pick up what I want that I'm sure I can move. Or another option might be to physically move it with the M command. But either way, as soon as we're done and we exit the inventory screen before it crashes, there's like a 2-second window that I can hurry up and hit the command to save it, I'm sure. But again, I'm not going to make you guys sit through that process, but just wanted to clue you in. Again, if anybody's stuck in this situation, because honestly, in all my time playing Unreal World, I don't think I've ever had the game crash before prior to this, but it's not surprising with this big thing, but I don't want to stress it too much. So let's take a quick look at the world map just because I'm so proud of it and I love to look at this. Now, one thing I should note real quick too, in terms of strategy, this village right here is still active. I almost walked into it. And this one up here is one of those little satellite colonies. Also, there's one over here just off to the side I haven't opened up the village net for. It kind of sprung up after the fact, but I think it might be good to continue inward. Like these ones on the coast over here, these 5, they're not going to be that hard to get to. I can use the Remy. Almost assuredly, we can get the Remy to help us because they've got still a bunch of villages to recruit from. And it might be possible to actually get the Koivula over there too. This would be a bit of a stretch, but if I opened up like 3 or 4 villages right here on the edge of their culture, we might be able to get them moved all the way over here and attack these settlements. Again, it's very important to utilize the farthest ones you can because some of these interior, really deep inside their territory, that's going to be hard to reach, and you're only going to be able to do it with a few particular villages inside some of the closest cultures. But anyway, enough chit chat. What I'm going to do, like I said, is kind of try and sort this pile so I don't crash the game every time I look at it, and then we'll get into more of what we're going to do today. Oh boy, well, I really screwed myself here, guys. I'm not going to go back into it again, but I've crashed the game at least 6 times now, trying to just separate the pile, trying to push it onto the cows, trying to move it, but I can't do what I suggested, which was trying to save it between those seconds, but between the inventory and the crash, because it just locks up. The game doesn't do anything. I can push things onto the bulls and the animals, but again, it crashes and it doesn't carry that save. So I was wrong about that. And I think this gear might be a write-off at this point. I don't know. If anybody's encountered this before and has a workaround for it, let me know. But yeah, unfortunately, it's not the end of the world though. We've still got another pile, which actually I've separated a little bit. You can see I've got 3 bulls here with me, and I've actually named these 3 bulls here. So I've got this one is food, so he's carrying that's a cow, carrying all our food. And this is trade goods, so obviously pretty self-explanatory. Got some weapons, some clothing that I picked out, some armor that'll definitely trade. And up here, this is our fur-carrying bull named Fur 1. And again, I had more furs, but they're in that bugged out stack there. So we're going to leave 3 of the bulls behind. Of course, we're taking all the dogs with us. Oh, yes. And in fact, if you look at my carry weight, I'm back up over 200 pounds, which some of that is food. I had to pick up some food because the cow couldn't carry everything. But I'm also now wearing my full set of armor once again. Let's go up to the top. Oh my god, I've got 99 broadheads arrows on me. That might be a little bit many. That's almost 20 pounds of arrows. I could definitely go in half at least and still probably not use the whole stack. So I'll do that real quick before we take off. I'll just push them onto the bull though. Keep them here with us. But yeah, so I think what we're going to do is head up here to probably the owl tribe again, because I mean, I don't know, we'll see. If the ice suddenly freezes over, maybe we can get into the camo culture, which is going to be a really, really key culture for us. But again, there's some really heavy duty like river over here blocking the way. It's kind of hard to see, but yeah, you can see it a little bit better. Pretty substantial river system here. So we only had access to one of their villages, but again, the winter is crucial. So let me go around, explore. Maybe we'll hit the Remy up and recruit them. But like I said, we're going to get a little army going. Probably not as big as the last one, but I don't know. You never know till you just get there and start recruiting. Okay, hold up a second, guys. It's getting pretty cold out here. I should have noticed, too, when my character was kind of waffling between cool and comfortably warm. But I think the situation might have changed drastically in our favor. In other words, I think the ice has frozen over. Oh, look, there's an elk right there. But let's not backtrack here. I'm just traveling. We're just about to exit the culture, the boundaries of the Njerpez culture. Let's see if we can head up to the Camo here. We'll run across some ice soon enough. But I did travel over some already, so I can confirm it. Even though I'm loaded down with over 217 pounds, it's still able. But this is what I say, like, there it is. Oh, we can ski right over the top. And of course, from the world map like this, you're totally safe. Now, if I were to zoom into the local terrain map, that's where you can run into trouble being on the ice. But at a certain point in the deep, deep winter like this, it's pretty much unbreakable unless you go out to like a really, really thin portion on the sea or something like that. But just don't do crazy stuff on the ice. I tend to avoid zooming into the local terrain map on ice, even if it's the dead of winter. But like I said, out here on the world map, we are perfectly free to just move. Uh-oh, look at this. We just encountered a Njerpez warrior. Well, that's why I always bring the dogs when I travel, no doubt about it. The bad thing is, damn, he's close. The bad thing is we are tired. My endurance is low because I've just been skiing. I didn't have a chance to even rest before this encounter. Good news is he doesn't have any ranged, so he's got just a little bit of stuff. He's wearing an iron helm. He is going to go hostile towards us, so let me go ahead and wield an arrow. One of our 99 broadheads. No, I didn't drop it. I should have dropped those, but we missed. So he's charging at us, going for the dogs here. Let me grab another arrow. You know the drill. This is just like any assault we would do in the village, except I'm a little bit unrested. Oh, We hit him, pierces his forearm. Where'd he go? He moved out of sight. There he is. He's running, or at least he's trying to flank me. He can't get through my shield of canines, though, so they're attacking. Let's look at him real quick. Suffering from a tear in the thorax, shallow cut in the right forearm, yada yada. Yep, now he's got a ranged weapon. He's carrying my broadhead arrow in his forearm. Let's take another shot at him. Okay, here we go. Headshot. Drop. Oh, nailed him. Let's see. Hits his shoulder again. He's juking and jiving. He's not retreating yet, but he is moving. So let's go for another shot here real quick. Oh, Christ, there's two of them. I didn't even see that. We've got very limited visibility, but... oh, no, Pickle is just falling prone. He's broken a gap in my canine shield, but I think we're going to be okay. Headshot. Ooh, he actually did come in, and he's taking a shot at me. Let's dodge it. Dodge it. Am I getting hit from out of sight? So he hit me in the thigh. I fell down. Let's stand up real quick. Oh, let's... Okay, the dogs, I think, just killed that guy to the north, or at least they made him drop his weapon, I think, maybe. Stand up. I need to look behind me. Okay. Okay, I just want to make sure I wasn't being attacked from out of sight. All right, because there can be obviously more than one warrior. I think that other one is dead now. Let's go ahead and hit this guy. Oh, he just fell. The dogs are killing him. All right, now he's up again. Headshot. Dropped him unconscious. Let's go. Dogs, attack him real quick. Oh my God, look at this. I think I just found out the results of starving your dogs and then trying to give them a mass command. They all bark miserably and refuse to obey, and they all fell prone for a second. I tried to get them to attack the guy, but they said no. And of course, they're all starving. So yeah. Just that's why you don't starve your dogs, people. Take it from a person who constantly starves their dogs. Look at this guy. He's trying to slink away from me. Bro, you and your buddy straight up assaulted me on the world map. You don't deserve to go free. All right, he's just slinking along. Some of my dogs are at least helping out here. Let's go for a blunt to the head. Oh, the dog's all over him. He's fallen unconscious. Go for him. Well, I think we've successfully defeated this encounter. And I'll take a quick look at their gear just to see if there's anything worth pushing on to our bulls for the rest of the trip. Okay, not too bad. So we did end up with a couple of, oh, those are my arrows, but a knife, a Njerpez scimitar. This guy's got an iron helm, too. I'm definitely taking that, and we'll probably grab those linen trousers. I'll take the cord, and that's about it. Nothing. Oh, you know what? The fur overcoat. That's almost 8 pounds of fur. Yeah, that's good enough. Now, remember, I've got tons of clothing to come, too. We're going to assault many more villages, so we don't need to worry. Unfortunately, we did lose a dog. Look at that. Caddy Bree got killed. Oh, it's unfortunate, but that's why we have just tons of dogs. And one thing I'm going to make a point of doing from now on is buying every dog I come across. In any village, I'm just going to buy all the dogs now from now on, no matter what. So this is the other guy. We're going to grab his spear, his broad knife, and that's about it. Man, we'll take the first shirt too. So there we go. Successful Njerpez encounter. Not quite expected. Let's go ahead and just sleep here at the scene of the crime too. Of course, they're the perpetrators of the crime, not us. But anyway, guys, time to get back to the world map and continue our journeys. But unfortunately, I think we're going to cut them short for today in the episode right here after that little successful battle. But like I say, starting off tomorrow, or at least I'm sorry, in the next episode, we will be doing some serious recruiting and then getting right back into the battle. Now that the ice is frozen over, all the serious attacks can really start to take place, guys. So get pumped, get prepared, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so, guys. And of course, I will see you all on the next episode.